Good evening, my name is Milena Hidalgo and today we are going to talk about pronunciation teaching. The practice says, provide techniques to teach English vowels, consonants, intonation, and word stress as a part of integrated lesson by recording a video accompanied with a tool, in this case a PowerPoint. First, I want to share with you the definition and purpose of integrated lesson type. An integrated lesson type refers to an instructional approach where various language skills, in this case listening, speaking, reading, and writing, are taught in conjunction with each other rather than in isolation. Teaching each of these language skills could be combined with teaching pronunciation. The main purpose of integrated lessons is to create a more natural and authentic learning environment where students can see how different language skills interact in real-life communication. Now, we are going to talk about some activities that amplify the integrated lessons. In this case, we're going to begin with teaching vowels. Activity 1. Minimal pairs listening and speaking exercise. The objective is to help students distinguish between different vowel sounds and practice their pronunciation while also improving listening and speaking skills. The materials we have to use is a list of minimal pairs, for example, sheep, bad, bit, full. And the procedure we have to use is play recordings of minimal pairs and ask students to identify which word they hear. The speaking part is having the students to practice pronouncing each pair, focusing on the difference in vowel sounds. How we have the integrated lesson in this activity? Listening, identifying a vowel sound in the minimal pair. The speaking, practicing pronunciation with a partner could be an idea. Reading the minimal pair aloud, and writing could be writing sentences using minimal pairs to demonstrate understanding. The second activity we have in this section is vowel sound board game. The objective is to practice vowel sounds in a fun and interactive way while also engaging in speaking and listening activities. The materials are a board game template with different spaces representing various vowel sounds. The procedure, the students roll a dice and move their piece on the board. They must pronounce a word corresponding to the vowel sound of the space they land on. If they pronounce the word correctly, they stay on the space. If not, they move back. In the integration with the skills we have in speaking, pronouncing words with specific vowel sounds. Listening is listening to peers' pronunciation. Reading the words in the board game, and writing, keeping score, writing down words pronounced. So this is a good idea for this practice. Now we have teaching consonants. The first activity, consonant cluster bingo. The objective, to help students practice recognizing and pronouncing consonant clusters while also improving listening and speaking skills. The materials we have is, for example, bingo cards with consonant clusters, for example, BL, ST, TR, SK. And the procedure, call out words containing consonant clusters. The students mark the clusters they heard on their bingo cards, and the first student to get a full line wins and must pronounce the words on their card. The integration we have in this activity in listening, identifying consonant clusters in spoken words. Then in speaking, pronouncing the words with consonant clusters when they have wind. Reading the words on the bingo cards, writing down the words as they hear them. In the activity 2, we have consonant sounds scavenger hunt. To reinforce the pronunciation of consonant sounds through a physical activity while also engaging listening, speaking, and reading skills is the objective of this activity. The materials: a list of words with target consonant sounds. The procedure: hide words cards around the classroom, maybe it could be also the playground. The students search for the cards and must pronounce each word they find. They earn points for correct pronunciation and can form teams for competitive elements. The integration we have is in listening to interaction and peers pronunciation. The speaking, pronouncing the found words, and the reading the words on the cards, writing down the words that they have found. Now, teaching intonation. Activity 1, intonation patterns and in dialogues. Objective: to practice rising and falling intonation in different types of sentences while also improving reading, listening, and speaking skills. The materials we need are scripts of short dialogues with various intonation patterns. The procedure is that the students listen to recordings of the dialogues, paying attention to intonation. In pairs, they practice reading the dialogue aloud, mimicking the intonation patterns. The students then perform the dialogues for the class, focusing on correct intonation. The integration in this activity in listening is listening to the dialogue recordings, in speaking, practicing and performing the dialogues, in reading the dialogue script, and in writing their own dialogues to practice intonation. Now, in activity 2, we have intonation melody drawing. The objective is to visualize and practice intonation patterns while integrating listening, speaking, and writing skills. Materials: sentences, writing on the board or a paper. The procedure is that the students draw the intonation pattern above each sentence. Example, rising and falling. They practice saying the sentences following their draw patterns. The group discussion on how intonation affects meaning and emotion in speech. In all this, we can have the integration in speaking when pronouncing sentences with correct intonation. In reading, when reading the sentences with marked intonation patterns. Writing, drawing, and labeling intonation patterns. And that is all for that activity. Now we have teaching word stress. Activity 1, word stress relay race. The objective is to practice identifying and pronouncing stressed syllables in words while integrating speaking, reading, and writing skills. This is one of my favorites. The materials we need is a list of multi-syllable words. The procedure divides the students into teams. Each team member must run to the board, write a word from the list, and mark the stressed syllable. The team with the most correct answer wins. The integration with skills: in speaking, we have pronouncing words with correct stress. In reading words from the list. In writing words and marking stress. And now we can continue with the activity 2. Stress pattern sorting. The objective is to categorize words based on their stress patterns while integrating speaking, reading, and writing skills. The materials: cards with words of varying stress patterns. For example, photographer, photographic. And the procedure: students sort the cards into groups based on the stress patterns. They practice pronouncing each group of words, focusing on the correct stress. Discuss how stress changes the meaning and form of words. And the integration with skills is pronouncing words with different stress in patterns in speaking, in reading the words on the cards, and in writing and sorting words into stress pattern groups. So these are the activities that I have selected for this explanation. I really wait that it could be very clear, and that's all for today.